Hello there, you may call me Miss Introvert, and here on this channel we write, we edit, we learn, and we grow, and I am growing right along with you guys, so we're all in the same boat. Today we are making a video on how you, as a writer, can do one of your favorite pastimes, reading, I'm assuming. If you're a writer that doesn't like reading, I also don't like reading sometimes, so do not feel bad. Sometimes I'll open a book and I'm like, I don't care. But if you do like reading, it is definitely something you can actively do to achieve your writing goals. If you don't like reading and you'd rather watch a show, there are going to be examples in this video of what you can do to grow your writing skills by watching TV. But not just like lounging around like I am guilty of doing and just mindlessly scrolling through a show that is very well written but you're not actively thinking about it. But there are ways to actively think about both books and movies and TV shows, video game stories, so much good media that we writers can really take upon ourselves, make note of, and then make our own worlds and creations and characters. But before we get into all that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure to like this video if you're into writing, if you're into poetry, if you're into publishing books, if you are into creating characters, if you're into just talking to a fellow introvert because you don't feel like going outside today, then you have come to the right place. So definitely subscribe if you'd like to make this a nice little second home for your introvert self that is just done with people for the day. I feel you, man. Comment down below, what was your favorite book of 2023? We are almost at the end of the year, and I would love some book recommendations. I've gotten lots on my TikTok. If you don't follow me on TikTok, head on over there. I'm on Instagram as well, but I would love to hear what you guys have been reading this year. Also, my fantasy book, Before Red Fire, A Sorcerer Falls, is now available on Amazon. It was just published a little while ago. I'm very proud of it. This is the not for resale version, but of course this little ribbon will not be on here when you get it. So definitely go check it out if you're into fantasy. If you have a fantasy-loving friend that you'd like to treat for Christmas, get them this book. I am very excited with how it turned out. So definitely give it a read. There are 2 more on the way. It's got characters inspired by my favorite video games like Skyrim and Zelda. So inspired by the adventure and stories and poetry and Lord of the Rings and Dragonlance. So if you are in the mood for an immersive escape into a fantasy world with dragons and reindeers, then I've got a link in the description just for you. And again, 2 sequels on the way. If you'd like to become an ARC reader for this book or a beta reader for the upcoming books, then fill out the Google form that is also in the description below. I've got everything for you guys. Now let's get started. Number 1, pick books, movies, TV shows, video games that are within your genre. As authors, we have 2 options to pick from. We can either read, watch, play video games for fun, or we can do that to study them. Either way, we usually end up scrutinizing on the story, the characters, the plot, the narrative, the structure, and any other craft elements that we're actively looking for, sometimes without even realizing it. We either take mental notes or we take physical notes. If you're reading to observe, you're either in school or you are in the process of developing a book within a certain genre and you have a whole library of other books to pick from. In order to get that library, you need to find books that are within your genre to start that research process. Books, movies, TV. I'm going to refer to all of that as media from now on, so I'm not repeating myself. As you are looking for these pieces of media, you not only want to search for what's in your genre, but you also want to find the ones that have a certain writing style or a protagonist that you're thinking of. These could range from picking out 5 different books. You've got one that's inspired by the world you want to create, another one you might have a certain voice that you're taking inspiration from. This could look like reading, watching, playing through multiple forms of media and then combining their inspiration. Another thing you can do is keep looking for places that you know you'll have a little bit of weakness in or something that you'll be struggling in during the writing process. Look for books with authors that have tackled those subjects. See what they're doing to make their story compelling that you can do to overcome those weaknesses. Add some poetry to that list as well if you, say, struggle with imagery, simile or metaphor or hyperbole or onomatopoeia. If you want to refine your world building within a fantasy setting, check out Lord of the Rings or anything by Brandon Sanderson. If you want to hop between POVs, check out Rick Riordan's Heroes of Olympus. That tackles that really well. Sometimes you do just want to skip through certain characters though and get back to you know who. You could check out Brandon Sanderson's Way of Kings is another good one. It doesn't really focus on the same characters throughout the book, but it focuses on different characters through like very long intervals. It's kind of confusing. It confused me. I need to read through it again and hopefully not be confused. That's why we read. We read so that we can understand why the authors did what they did. And then we can, in turn, try to replicate those things in our own unique way. And remember, you're not reading to copy the books. You're reading to ask questions and find the answers to those questions. And then use those answers to structure your plot and your characters and what have you. Number 2, what kinds of questions should you ask? Keep it simple to start. How is the plot introduced to the reader? What is the rising action? What is the climax? What is the falling actions? What is the denouement? And go through it again and get a little deeper. These are questions that you can ask while reading and while writing. How does the author introduce this character in a compelling way? How are we shown this character's personality? How are we shown how this character is reacting to the inciting incident? How does the author use this character's backstory in a compelling way, rather than in a hindering way? Does this prologue work? Why or why not? Does this epilogue work? Why or why not? Go back to your English class questions and get excited about the answers. Again, these will help you craft your novel. Number 3, read about book structure. Not only do you want to read fiction within your genre, if you're a fiction writer, that's kind of who I'm targeting here, but you also want to read about writing fiction. Sometimes it's helpful to have someone give you advice rather than just coming up with it by yourself. The more voices you hear around you that are actual experts, rather than the ones that are in your head, the better. Some of the ones that I've enjoyed are Natalie Goldberg. Her book, Writing Down the Bones, is a very simple one. If you're like just starting out on writing, definitely give it a read. It's got just these bite-sized chapters that are very conversational, and she really just teaches you how to write in its simplest form. I love Sol Stein, specifically on writing, Stephen King's on writing, same name. It's confusing, but each has their own substantial price and insight. Reading from these authors gives you so much knowledge that you never even knew that you needed. You also want to be prepared for the editing stage of your novel. You want to know what to fix before you send it off to editors, beta readers, and proofreaders too. That way you're able to fully understand the suggestions being made during the editing stage, and you can pick them out for yourself. This also helps you look deeper into the work of writing peers, and maybe you can go into an editing career for yourself. There is so much you can do in the writing world professionally and personally, just with the help of authors that have come before you. And that is just a little bit about reading before you write. This is just my experience, so you can take it or leave it. But these are just some of the methods that have helped me along the way, and some of them that have also helped authors and mentors that have really shown me how to craft my own writing process. I'm still trying to find the perfect way to do it, and there is no perfect way to do it. I mean, we're still in the experimentation stage right now. Somehow we got a book self-published, so that's cool, but it doesn't mean that it's perfect yet. This was chaos in the making. But reading about writing helps so much. In grad school, there's just been so many resources, so much reading that I've been able to do, that I've had the privilege of being able to do. Take advantage of the online world. There's so many articles. Literary Hub, go to Literary Hub. There's so much on there that you can learn about what's going on in the writing world right now, who's like really tackling it well, who's not tackling it well, just learning so much more about genre and learning more about shifting genre and what that looks like, learning from other authors' experiences who are trying to show people what it's like to be a writer. What do they do when they have a lot of free time and they don't feel like writing? How do they still make their lives productive as writers? So much good stuff on Literary Hub. This video is not sponsored. Once again, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and comment down below what is on your TBR for 2024. If you'd like to give me an extensive list, I will take the book recommendations. Again, if you would like to become a beta reader or an ARC reader, I would love to have you on the team and getting this book reviewed and also getting the next few books readable. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and stay basic. Hey, bye!